can tell the world you never was my girl. You can burn my clothes when I'm gone. You can tell your friends just what a fool I've been, and laugh and joke about me on the phone. You can tell my arms go back onto the farm. You can tell my feet to hit the floor. You can tell my lips, tell my fingertips, they won't be reaching out for you no more. But don't tell my heart, my achy breaky heart, I just don't think he'd understand. And if you tell my heart, my achy breaky heart, I might go up and kill this man. You can tell your ma I'll move to Arkansas. You can tell your dog to bite my leg. Or tell your brother Cliff, whose fist can tell my lip, he never really liked me anyway. Go tell your Aunt Louise, tell anything you please, myself already knows I'm not okay. Or you can tell my eye to watch out for my mind, he might be walking out on me today. But don't tell my heart, my achy breaky heart, just don't think it understand. And if you tell my heart, my achy breaky heart, I might go up and kill this man. Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome to 2021. Today, I want to take a look at the song Achy Breaky Heart. You probably remember it as performed by Billy Ray Cyrus. It is a great song to learn, both as a beginner and as a more advanced player. There's room to grow, but the basics of it is just 2 chords. As you heard when I just played the song, the 2 chords were just C and G. That's all you need. If you want to play it in the key of C, of course. I have also prepared this song in 3 other keys. I have prepared the song in the key of F, in the key of G, and in the key of A. So we've got C, F, G, and A. 4 different ways that we can play this song. It can be fun having different keys to play in. Some keys are going to be a little bit easier to play on the ukulele. Some keys are going to be easier for you to sing. Having some understanding between different keys and what works best for you is super, super helpful. So looking at the key of C for this song, again, like I said, we're just going back and forth between the C chord and the G chord. And the strumming pattern that I'm using is like... it's like down, 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 up, down, up. But I kind of change it up a little bit in terms of like how I'm attacking the strings. For instance, I'll start with my thumb, and my thumb's kind of just hitting the G string, and sometimes it's hitting the G and the C string together. And then I'm doing a downstroke with my index finger. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and so thumb, index, thumb, index, index, index. Now, you don't have to strum it that way. That's just kind of comfortable for me. I like when I'm playing country tunes, especially when I'm playing country tunes, I like getting that bass note in. Of course, I'm playing with a high G right now, so I'm not getting a bass note. I'm getting an open G. Coming from guitar, it might sound something like this, where I'm plucking my bass note, I'm plucking a low C note. That kind of country vibe I'm trying to replicate on the ukulele. The low G ukulele will help get that sound if that's what you're looking for. But I'm cool with sticking with the high G for this one. Any number of strumming patterns will work. What I tend to do for this song and a lot of songs is to accent beats 2 and 4 when I'm strumming. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It adds a little bit of interest to a relatively simple strumming pattern, rather than just like the 1, 2, 3, 4. All the beats, the same volume, same attack. Especially simpler songs. If I'm not, jumping chords a whole bunch, and my strumming is relatively simple, it can be nice to add some texture to that simple pattern. Like I said, we're just jumping back and forth between C and G here, and you can listen to the playthrough and try and jam along and see what you can add in there. If you're finding that these changes are pretty comfortable, we could even add in another chord. If you're like, all right, 2 chords, cool, but what if we did 3 chords? Well, we could change that G chord a little bit. We could change to a G7 chord in the middle there. So let me show you what I mean. You can tell the world you never was my girl. You can burn my clothes when I'm gone. G7. You can tell your friends just what a fool I've been. Laugh and joke about me on the phone. So then we've kind of got like this C vibe. Now we go to G. And we can switch to that G7. Creating some tension to want us to pull back to that C chord. That's entirely optional. It's not necessary, but it's something that you could do to spice things up a little bit if you wanted to. One more thing that I wanted to mention about Achy Breaky Heart in the key of C, and I'm going to talk about this with all of the keys that we're playing it in, is finding the starting note for the melody. So I want to sing this song, and I want to know where my voice is going to start. And especially as I'm bouncing between different versions and different keys, that starting note is going to be different for each different key that I'm in. So when I'm playing in the key of C, it is the E note that is going to be my starting note. Our starting pitch is on what we call the third of the chord. So C chord is made up of 3 different notes, C, E, and G. And it's that middle note, the E, that is going to be the note that we start singing on. So you can give yourself a note. Yeah, I want to sing it down here. I'm going to get into the baritone going on there, because otherwise I would have to sing this E up here. You can tell the world you never was my girl. You can burn my clothes when I'm gone. There's a time and place for that too. But we're going to want to remember where that starting note is as we're moving to these other keys. Now remember, that starting note is going to be relative to whatever key you're playing in. So this next version I've got here is in the key of F. Now, if I'm playing the song in the key of F, E is no longer going to be my starting note. I need to find the third of my F chord. And what note is the third? Well, the 3 notes that make up the F chord are F, A, and C. So again, we're looking for that middle note. The A is my note, and thankfully, we've got an open A right here on the ukulele. So that's going to be the note that I start singing on when I play this song. You can tell the world you never was my girl. You can burn my clothes when I'm gone. We can talk about how to find all of the notes in a particular song, but let's just keep it simple for now and just look for that starting note. This song it is likely embedded in your memory. Your pop culture osmosis has probably embedded it in there, so you can probably remember at least the gist of the melody. So once you've got your starting note, you can kind of rock out there. Same deal, everything's the same here. We're just rocking back and forth now between an F and a C. You can tell the world you never was my girl. You can burn my clothes when I'm gone. And I could change to that C7 here again. Or you can tell your friends just what a fool I've been, and laugh and joke about me on the phone. So again, that can help you add a little bit of spice in there if you want to. Just like you don't have to add that C7 in there at all, you don't have to add a seventh chord in there every time. You can just throw it in when you want a little bit of extra, drama or what have you, a little bit of extra tension in there. Likewise, talking about changing tension over a song that is just two chords, right? We're just going back and forth between those two chords. We can change our dynamics, not just in our strumming pattern alone. But one thing that I do try to do on here is when I get to the chorus, I try to get a little bit more bombastic. And that can be a pretty common trait in a lot of pop music. You know, the verses are a little bit more subdued, and then the choruses kind of explode, and then we can settle back into another verse. You know, we've got those ups and downs of a song. It doesn't always have to be that straightforward, verse low, chorus high, but that's a pretty common way to think about it, and you can get a little bit, you can get creative with it along the way. But that's what I'm trying to do dynamically in this song. You can tell the world you never was my girl. You can burn my clothes when I'm gone. You can tell your friends just what a fool I've been. Laugh and joke about me on the phone. You can tell my arms go back onto the farm. You can tell my feet to hit the floor. Or you can tell my lips to tell my fingertips they won't be reaching out for you no more. But don't tell my heart, my achy breaky heart, just don't think you'd understand. And if you tell my heart, my achy breaky heart, it might blow up and kill this man. You can tell your ma I moved to Arkansas. You can tell your dog to bite my leg. Or tell your brother Cliff, whose fist can tell my lip, he never really liked me anyway. Go tell your Aunt Louise, tell anything you please. Myself already knows I'm not okay. Or you can tell my eye to watch out for my mind. Might be walking out on me today. But don't tell my heart, my achy breaky heart, just don't think you'd understand. And if you tell my heart, my achy breaky heart, it might blow up and kill this man. The good old key of G. All right, so here we're changing between the key of G and the key of D. All right, those are our two chords for this song in the key of G. Again, everything is going to follow suit. Now, my starting note, I need to find the third of the G chord, right? I need to find that middle note of the G chord. The three notes that make up our G are G, B, and D. So it's that B that I need to find for my starting pitch. And I can find that B note right here on the second fret of my A string. So I can find my note and start singing. You can tell the world you never was my girl. You can burn my clothes when I'm gone. You can tell your friends just what a fool I've been. Laugh and joke about me on the phone. You might also notice that I get a little bit busier with my strumming at the ends of verses. Again, that's kind of signaling a change. We're starting over a new little section. So at the end of each verse, you know, we've got two verses and then a chorus, and then two verses and a chorus. So I'm kind of getting a little extra busy in between verses and between verse and chorus. Again, just as another way to help break it up. In the recordings of this song, you'll hear the guitar playing, something like that. It's playing something that's close to the melody on electric guitar. And when you have those other instruments, drums can pick up, bass can fill in some space. You have those extra pieces to kind of change the dynamics. But on a ukulele where it's just you gotta be the drums, you gotta be the bass, you gotta do it all. You can tell the world you never was my girl. You can burn my clothes when I'm gone. You can tell your friends just what a fool I've been, laugh and joke about me on the phone. You can tell my arms go back to the farm. You can tell my feet to hit the floor. You can tell my lips to tell my fingertips they won't be reaching out for you no more. But don't tell my heart, my achy breaky heart, I just don't think he'd understand. And if you tell my heart, my achy breaky heart, he might blow up and kill this man. You can tell your ma I moved to Arkansas. You can tell your dog to bite my leg. Or tell your brother Cliff, whose fist can tell my lip, he never really liked me anyway. Go tell your Aunt Louise, tell anything you please, myself already knows I'm not okay. You can tell my eye to watch out for my mind, might be walking out on me today. But don't tell my heart, my achy breaky heart, just don't think he'd understand. And if you tell my heart, my achy breaky heart, he might blow up and kill this man. And finally, I wanted to look at Achy Breaky Heart in the key of A. This is the original version, at least, that Billy Ray Cyrus performed it in. Who was the other band that did this? The Marcy Brothers. Let's see. Were the Marcy Brothers in the key of A, too? They're in the key of A as well. All right, so we've got our Achy Breaky Heart in the original key, in the key of A. And that brings me to one more thing that I wanted to share about the benefit of having a song like this in your back pocket, is you can use this to practice new chords. So when we're starting off, we play a lot of like 1, 2, 3 chord songs as we're learning and as we're getting our fingers around different chords. Well, we can transpose songs that we already know into new keys. So if maybe you know C and G really well, and you've got F and C down, and G and D is just about there, but man, that E chord is really tricky. Well, this could be a perfect opportunity to practice playing that E chord. We don't have a lot of switching that we have to do, right? We're just going back and forth between A and E. But if you're playing it in the key of A and that E chord just isn't working out for you, if it's you can use the E7 chord in its place. So if this is a great key for you to sing in, but hitting that chord is a little tough, we still got this. If you've watched any of my videos, you know that I like to put some little fancy fiddly bits into my arrangements. This is a simple one that we can add in. This can also exercise your pinky if you need a little extra pinky exercise. I can play that guitar lick, or at least the basic guitar lick, right here on the A string. I'm playing 4th fret, 2nd fret, 4th, 2nd, open. And that's all while I'm strumming my A chord. So it's just a little something extra that you can throw in there. And then we have this E chord. I'm playing the E chord like this in this particular instance. So I have my index finger on the 2nd fret of the A, and then my 2nd, 3rd, and 4th fingers on the G, C, and E string. A lot of times when I'm playing an E chord, you'll probably see me barring like this. But it's really tough to get that accurately, at least for me. Some days I can do it better than others. It's probably a matter of practice, actually practicing this, but like getting my ring finger to not hit the A string right there. Another way that you might see me commonly play the E chord is like this, where I have my pointer finger barred across the 4th fret, and my pinky is up on the 7th fret of the A string. But that just doesn't sound right to me for this particular song, right? I'm just going back and forth between these two chords, and I think that this voicing just tends to be a little too out there, like a little too far away from that A chord. And when it's just these two going back and forth, I want to try and keep those chords relatively close together. And the closest way that I can play that E chord is right here. You can tell the world you never was my girl. You can burn my clothes when I'm gone. You can tell your friends just what a fool I've been. Laugh and joke about me on the phone. You can tell my arms go back onto the farm. You can tell my feet to hit the floor. You can tell my lips to tell my fingertips they won't be reaching out for you no more. But don't tell my heart, my achy breaky heart, I just don't think he'd understand. And if you tell my heart, my achy breaky heart, he might blow up and kill this man. You can tell your ma I moved to Arkansas. You can tell your dog to bite my leg. Tell your brother Cliff, whose fist can tell my lip, he never really liked me anyway. Tell your Aunt Louise, tell anything you please, myself already knows I'm not okay. Or you can tell my eye to watch out for my mind, it might be walking out on me today. But don't tell my heart, my achy breaky heart, I just don't think he'd understand. And if you tell my heart, my achy breaky heart, it might blow up and kill this man. All right, so what if you wanted to try this in another key? Let's say maybe you're working on like the E flat chord or the B flat chord or something like that. Hey, that's kind of handy because both of those chords are how we would play it in the key of E flat. So if I wanted to play this song in the key of E flat, I would have my E chord, my E flat chord. And B flat. Got my B flat 7. And then my third would be the G note. You can tell the world you never was my girl. You can burn my clothes when I'm gone. You can tell your friends just what a fool I've been. Laugh and joke about me on the phone. But how do I know? How do I know that it's those two chords? Well, there's a little bit of theory, music theory involved in that. And the easiest way to do it is to kind of like have the musical alphabet written out in front of you, because that way we can kind of see where we're going. Basically, we are looking at what we call the 1 and the 5 chord here. So the 1 chord is like our home base. If we're playing in the key of C, our 1 chord is C. And then we have the musical alphabet, so I can, I can see all of the different letters. All of these scales are going to have some form of C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and then we start back over at C. And we can number those letters. So C is 1, D is 2, E is 3. You get the idea. So that is where we are going to find our 1 and our 5 chords. So our 1, I'm going to build a chord off of that first note of the scale. And for the 5 chord, I'm going to build a chord off of the 5th note of that scale. That also happens to be where we'll find the notes that we were talking about, the 1, 3, and 5, that make that chord that we're looking for. So when we were looking for the C, and, I was just saying, oh yeah, it's the C, E, and G. Well, that's where it comes from. So you can pick any chord that you might want to practice and put this song in that particular key, and the trick will just be to find the 5th away from that key. So we looked at E flat. Let's start with a not a sharp or a flat chord, just for simplicity's sake, so you can get the idea. So the key of D, we didn't do the key of D here. So what's the 5th to my key of D? Well, I can just count up the letters, D, E, F, G, A. The A chord is going to be my 5th. So if I wanted to play this in the key of D, it's a D chord and an A chord. And those are the chords that I'm going to jump back and forth between. B flat. So when we get into flat and sharp scales, it can be a little bit tricky because it's like, oh, where's what? The easiest way that I could recommend is just having a list of all of your scales, and if you want to figure it out, you can just like look at a little chart and say, oh yeah, that one right there. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that's my other chord. So B flat, I would just count up the notes in the B flat scale: B flat, C, D, E flat, F. B flat and F are going to be the 2 chords for this song if I want to play in the key of B flat. If that just happens to be where my voice sits perfectly, I know that B flat is my key. Now I can do it. Let's do a tricky one. F sharp. What's going to be the 5th of F sharp? Let me know. All right, so you have 4 versions of Achy Breaky Heart. You can host line dances all day, all week now. It'll be a good time. If you have any questions about this lesson, let me know. tinyvillagemusic@gmail.com is the place to reach me. If you've found this video out in the wild on YouTube and you're like, hey, where's all that sheet music he's talking about? You can sign up for my mailing list. Again, it's at tinyvillagemusic.com, and I'm sure I'll include a link. I'm usually good about that. But you can sign up for the mailing list. Every Friday, I send out a video lesson and some materials to go along with it to help you on your ukulele journey. I also want to give a shout out to a friend of mine, Lisa, the Ukulele Fool. I recently did an interview with her over on her channel. So right here on YouTube, just head over to the Ukulele Fool. She has a bunch of really, really great tutorials. She's a great player and a singer and just an absolutely wonderful teacher and a fantastic person on top of all that. So I was really honored to chat with her about all things ukulele for a while. So head over and check out that interview with me, and then check out some other videos. She's got some really good tutorials over there. All right. Thank you again for watching, everybody. I really appreciate it. I hope this year brings you all of the good things, and I look forward to seeing you next week. All right. Take care.